Hi, this is Annett Bone, and you are listening to Me, Myself, and I Radio.
Welcome to Me, Myself, and I Radio, a self-discovery podcast. Here are stories of transformation and hope with your host, Anthony Hayes. It's time to be inspired. Let's go.
Gotta get up, it's early morning. Drank so hard last night, my lids are swollen. Got my guitar, gotta get to a studio. Got a track and I think it's gonna hit, yo. It's been so many years and there's been so many tears, and it's gonna be well worth the pain, see, when all my people line up to see me. Cause I got no money, got no home.
If you enjoyed that introduction song, that is Lovestruck Robot coming through again with the tunes, this time with Do It All for the Dream. Head on over to lovestruckrobot.com or download that on iTunes right now. Good morning, good afternoon. Hip hip hooray, me, myself, and I Radio Tribe. I've got another Podcast Discovery Center member, another podcaster, and just another all-around awesome human being on with me today to share some awesome wisdom and a great journey. I know this is going to be cool. You know, my co-pilot today on their journey of self-discovery is a young lady who overcame her fears by returning to her passion of dance after 2 decades. Now that is awesome. You know, we met actually at MapCon in New Jersey, and this past September was up at the podcasting conference. And, you know, we stayed in touch and went back and forth. So that kind of brought us here to today. So we just appreciate these conferences and these meeting things to kind of just meet people and learn from them, learn their stories, learn their journey. So that kind of is what brought us here to today. Her show, Dancepreneuring Studio Podcast, guides listeners on a journey of transformation inspired by dance, life, and business. And it sounds like I'm sensing a Me, Myself, and I vibe here. I know you guys are too. Annett Bone, let's get into Me, Myself, and I, shall we?
Yes, we shall. Thank you so much for having me, Anthony.
Awesome. No, thank you. It was such a pleasure to meet you and hear your story at the conference. There was just so much knowledge and wisdom floating around that room. I took so much away from it, so many notes. And just thank you for being so vulnerable and so brave to get up there. I know it's never an easy task to get up and speak in front of an audience. So it was a great presentation at MapCon. Thanks so much for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, it is not easy to get up, especially since I'm not a public speaker. And I never thought that I would do something like that. But I'm always about getting out of your comfort zone. And that was definitely out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, I think I know that everybody was into it. Yeah, every time somebody else new got up there, it was like just a refresher, a reset to hear new experiences, new struggles, new obstacles, new information. So there's no doubt in my mind that everybody else was thinking the same thing that I was. So totally awesome.
Thank you.
So you took a hiatus from dance for 20 years?
Yes, 20, actually probably closer to 21, 22, but I say 20 because it's just easier to remember.
Yeah, wow. I mean, the fear and anxiety coming back into that was probably pretty high, yeah?
It was a constant internal struggle when I was considering it. The thing is, during all that time, Anthony, during those 2 decades, I was missing it so much. And a lot of times I didn't want to admit it to myself. And I kind of buried that, I buried it a lot. And so that manifested into other things such as depression and low self-esteem. And that was something I was always kind of struggling with anyway throughout, for as long as I can remember. And so it didn't help that I walked away from my first love, which is dance. And so that led a downward spiral. And I was missing it so much, but I still had that fear and trepidation before going back into it a few years ago.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I know a lot of people, myself included, will, maybe put something on the back burner, but no matter what, deep down inside, that passion, that fire, it's always still there. That even if the flame is just barely lit, it's always something that's underneath in the subconscious. So, I commend you for just clinging on to that and going back and doing what you love, because dance is an amazing way to express yourself honestly and feel so free. And I don't just say that metaphorically. I was a professional breakdancer for 6 years.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Just being able to get out there and in front of a crowd or in front of that group or on that stage and to be able to just throw down is just a very, very liberating experience. I'm sure you can agree with that.
Yes, and I'm sure you understand that rush, especially when you're in a cipher, right? You remember those days where what you were feeling and that adrenaline and like
Oh
you were talking
yeah,
about, expressing
that
yourself and
attitude.
yes, yes, it's kind of hard to describe if you haven't done it, but it's true. It is a very freeing experience, but it forces you to be vulnerable, especially in a performance setting and even being in class, depending on the teacher and the style. And you know how it is. You
Mhm.
have to put yourself out there. You cannot, if you want to grow anyway, you have to put yourself out there.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, definitely the this whole journey of self discovery that you've been on. This is a constant thing. It's been evolving. It's morphed you into this Annett that we know today, the podcaster. What's the show? What's the premise of the show for anybody who doesn't know? Obviously, we're gonna have links to your show and everything we talk about in the show notes here at Me, Myself, and I Radio. But give everybody kind of like the Annett we know today a brief summary of kind of what's going on right now.
Well, if you had asked me if I would have a podcast that I love doing, if you had asked me that a couple years ago, I would have said that you were crazy. First of all, I hated the sound of my voice. I hated talking, hearing myself talk and stuff like that. And so for me to have a podcast and love it, it's crazy.
That's so
And
cool.
it's really, and I love it so much. And so with dance, I thought, I want to do a podcast. I want to do something with dance that maybe is not conventional. So, and I wanted to also combine business, which I love. I love entrepreneurship and self-growth, productivity,
Yes.
mindset,
Yes.
all those things together. And I thought, you know what, I can combine those two things together, my two passions together. I want to do something that fires me up and talk to people that are going through the same thing, and dance has to be involved. I've been away from it for too long, but then I thought, okay, I can't really talk from the perspective of, how do you audition, because I had not been in that world for over 20 years. And excuse me, I couldn't talk from that kind of, how to be this kind of dancer or that, because I didn't feel that that was authentically me, because I had not had the experience. It would be like me talking about something that, just from theory, and I didn't want to do that. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so I thought that it would be more appropriate to, as a more of a journey and kind of chronicle my journey of getting back into the dance world, the lessons I've learned, the people that I've met, and fuse that all together. Just like I like a fusion of dance styles, I like being able to fuse these topics that I'm so excited about into my podcast. So everything I
That's
do
cool.
now I feel so blessed, Anthony, that I get to do this, because I get to be in the world that I love so much in different arenas, whether it's class or a workshop or combining other things with dance and learning. Being in that constant student mindset has fueled me so much and has been a huge part of the podcast, why I podcast, the content creation of it, everything. So
Yeah.
I get so excited talking about it, and just it excites me every day. Has it been challenging? Of course.
Oh,
Nothing's perfect. You know how it is, podcasting
yeah.
and building your business and your family demands and your own self-care and that kind of thing. There's a way to make that all work together. And one thing I've learned is that everybody's journey is different, and that is okay. For the longest time, I thought, okay, I need to be like this person because they have this going on. And I'm all about modeling success and habits, but at the same time, we're all individual and we all have our own individual things to go through and things to work on, and that it looks different for everybody, and we need to honor that and honor the process of whatever it takes for us to get from point A to point B. And it's all exciting and it's all good because it's progress and it's development, it's, new experiences. And so it's very exciting. Can you tell I'm really excited about it?
Wow. I gotta shake that off for a second because I just got like the craziest goosebumps hearing you talk about that. I know everybody else listening did too, because it was just, you're just like, I'm a little ball of fire. That's awesome. It was like, I felt like you were speaking to me. I appreciate that. That was cool.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna pull some awesome quotes out of that, and all that stuff's going to be available on the website when we publish this. It's going to be memyselfandiradio.com/Annett to make it really easy. And once again, for you guys listening, anything you hear that you love, we'll have links. You'll be able to, towards the end of the show, we'll get all that information to you. So it's all good. The question I did have, I kind of maybe misread it or just didn't read into it enough. Are you a student of dance, or are you a dance teacher, or both? I kind of missed that.
Oh, no worries. I am not a dance teacher. It's funny though, Anthony, because when I went to study dance in college, there were different emphases, if that's the correct word, that you could have with a Bachelor of Arts dance degree, which I did get from the University of California, Irvine, which is an excellent school if you want to study dance. It's a great school for studying dance in an academic setting. And at the time I chose teaching. So I got my Bachelor of Arts in dance and teaching because I was too scared to go for performance or choreography, which is what I really wanted to do. And so because of my self-doubt and fear, I chose teaching because I thought, okay, well, I can be a dance teacher if this doesn't, but still that didn't sit right with me. I felt like I was settling, not for really what I really, but because of my self-image at the time. So, and the funny thing now, I have no desire to be a dance teacher. I'm a student of dance. I use dance as a metaphor for life. I use it in my podcast. I interview dancers and choreographers that are entrepreneurial.
The world is a dance floor.
It is, isn't it? It totally is. Everything, and everything you do has a dance to it. Your relationships, your business interactions, there's an ebb and a flow and a rhythm, and there's movement, and there's creativity and excitement. And so, no, I have no desire to be a dance teacher now, even though that's what my degree is. Now that might change, I don't know, but right now I feel like in this season of my life, I'm very much in training, and I'll always be a student no matter what for the rest of my life in everything that I do. Awesome. But right now I am definitely in training and learning mode with dance and the other things that I do.
Yeah. But even though you're not directly in the teaching of dance, that academic knowledge, that structure that you have is something you apply. Obviously you apply it every day in your life. So just to have that and to be able to utilize that as one of your resources, or your just a part of you, I think that education, aside from the self-education, that rudimentary knowledge is definitely a driving factor in everything that you're doing, from what it sounds like.
Yes, that's correct.
So yeah, oh man, awesome. That's you touch on some really relatable topics, some heavy ones. We got into our time machine of self-discovery about 20 minutes ago or so, and we're just going through Annette's life. We're visiting her struggles, her obstacles, and a lot of her victories in everything that she's done to be a better Annett, a better human being. And I obviously you guys are out there, you're soaking this in right now, so I really appreciate her being here for that. Is there any chance of you going to some podcasting conferences this year as well? Is it something that you're thinking about, or what's up with that?
I'm definitely thinking about it. There's a couple that I'm looking at because MapCon this past September, where we met, was my first podcast conference. I've been to a lot of other business conferences that were either more. Yeah, it was really amazing. I loved connecting with other podcasters because of obviously the commonality, but just being reminded that you can do so much with podcasting. And I think it's just awesome that you can talk about what it is that excites you. It doesn't have to be this dry, I guess it could be an academic thing because there are academic podcasts, but there was something about us all being together and learning together and, oh, here we go with the and word. It was awesome being around other podcasters, learning together, growing together, taking notes, like you said. I took a lot of notes as well. There was a lot of actionable takeaways that I was able to implement that have made a huge difference. And so, yes, I am looking at other podcast conferences coming up this year to attend as well.
Cool. That'd be awesome. I think for me at this point, it's more a matter of do I want to go there? Yes, of course, but it's a matter of whether I can afford it or not. Because it's just so many life changes going on right now, and it is an expense that get a plane ticket, get a hotel, and just set up all those things. So there was an energy, I think, in that room is what you're kind of like where you were alluding to. There was just this energy, right? It was all those personalities in one room, this vibe, and I was totally digging it. I really, really hope I can make it to the conference this year, as well as maybe some others. There's some in Orlando.
Yes.
That I'm definitely going to try to get out to, because that's just one of those experiences. You just have to do it. No matter what your business, your pleasure, your passion is in life, you guys are listening out there, there's something out there for you. There's a conference. There's some kind of business gathering. There's some kind of community. So it's just a matter of finding it and then putting yourself out there enough to get there, to connect and to network with these people, because they're awesome. So I highly encourage everybody out there, whatever you're doing, whatever you're into, there's something, do it. Search on Google for it, listen to some podcasts, read a book. There's information out there to get to these places. And that's where you want to be. Because if not for that, we wouldn't be here today with Annett. So awesome.
It's worth the investment to attend conferences for sure. Not for the sake of attending conferences, but like you said, Anthony, the networking, the energy, what you learn, I think it catapults you and takes you to another pinnacle. So it's worth the investment.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the conference alone kind of gave me a swift kick in the ass, because I've been podcasting like 3 years, right? So the whole progression of the show, this evolution, right? It's kind of like my own journey of self-discovery. Okay. So as people have listened and subscribed and everything like that, it was kind of like just going, but not going anywhere. So then along the way, I'm picking up all these awesome guests, all this information, and bringing everybody along with me for the ride, because we're all on this ride together. We're all trying to better ourselves, trying to better our lives, trying to better our message, our business, whatever it is that you guys are going through. We've been there too. And just hearing these stories from everybody and going along on the journey with them, I think is very inspiring. So that's kind of like why I do it.
It's a great journey to be on, Anthony. And I think it's awesome that you're doing this and bringing the people that you have brought on and letting them share and impact your audience. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to do something different. It was kind of just like me talking about nonsense. And then I started to slowly filter in some people, some guests. But I was like, the structure just wasn't there. It was very forced. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. But I've just found that this kind of works for me a little better. And I hope that it shows to everybody out there that no matter what your passion is, as long as you're making some steps in a forward motion, a forward momentum, you'll get there eventually. It'll become something one day. That degree in dance that you spoke about, that you thought didn't mean anything, that you kind of brushed under the rug. In the future, it meant something. It gave you that structure. So anybody who can relate to that, I think will definitely take away something from that message, for sure.
It's looking back, when you look back, it's always interesting and you think, oh, okay, that happened for a reason. I'm happy for that. I learned
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, you guys, you need to stop asking yourself why and ask yourself when. There's a difference. Why is this
That's a great
happening to me?
question. That is a
No,
great question.
not why is this happening to me? What is this going to mean in the future? What is going to evolve from this down the line? It may not be tomorrow, it might not be 6 months, maybe a couple of years. For me, it took going through a divorce to be able to have my daughter today. If I didn't go through that divorce, I wouldn't have Violet. Excuse me. I had to go through that hardship to have something amazing come out of it. So, that's kind of where I not only foresee my future going in evolution, but the future and evolution for you and to everybody out there who's listening in listener land, podcast land. Are you did you put your show on Google Play, by the way? I just submitted to that.
I did put it a
Cool.
few months ago. It's interesting though, because when it first came available, it seemed like it was difficult, and then as with anything else, it gets easier to do that stuff. So yes, I did.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, I digress. I'm kind of like, I don't know, like all over the place today. I apologize, guys. But that's the cool thing about like me, myself, and I is you don't know, right? You don't
I
know what's
love
going
that.
on.
I love
You
that.
don't know what's going to happen. You talk to different people, different walks of life. You get a different journey, a different perspective, and then I just ramble and I'm soaking it in like you guys. That's why I look forward to going back to edit these things, because I can hear everything again, hear it a little clearer, and everything that you've heard today is going to be available. So guys, don't worry. Along the way, Annett, there was maybe something that helped your journey, some resources or something like that. What would you say that was?
There are a lot of things that helped me, different stages for different things, but a couple of resources I can share, a couple of things that are really easy and have been very impactful. There's a book called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, and the premise of it is on organization, and I very much like organization and productivity and that kind of thing. However, this book, I love the approach of it, and my dance trainer always says, sometimes it's not always about the content, it's about the approach. And her approach is very gentle. It's very encouraging when it comes to decluttering and that kind of thing. And not only stuff.
I've heard about this book. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. This is a good one.
Yeah. It's my
Very
favorite
cool.
book on this topic. And I just loved how she approached things with honor and with joy. And for the time that I read it, I needed that, because I came from a very toxic mentorship relationship for when I wasn't dancing and trying to pursue business and trying to figure out, okay, I really love this entrepreneur thing, but I don't know how to do this and I don't know how to do that. And I got involved in a business model where it was really weird, because it was taught to be positive and to have self-growth, and we had all these resources, yet at the same time we were reprimanded for not being a certain way or not following a certain rule. So there was this constant inner struggle, and I was already struggling as it is with my own self-image and my weight issues and not dancing and feeling like I was a failure and all that. So it was very emotionally taxing. And so when I read this book, I thought, oh my gosh, I love this approach. I love that you can improve yourself, but not berate yourself. It doesn't have to be that way. And that's been a huge concept for me in everything. And that's why I also love yoga. So I've been doing yoga for about a year now. And I put that in just because I started doing that because a friend of mine, I was having some knee challenges, and she said, why don't you try hot yoga? And so I did. And now I like all forms of yoga.
Yeah,
and I do
super
different
cool.
forms. Oh gosh, it's made the hugest difference, not only in my body, but in combination with the dance and the other cross training I do, and the intention that they always set before the class, the positivity, the self-love, which I totally needed. And I still need, we all need that, right? So I would say the book, doing yoga, if you haven't tried yoga, I would definitely find there's different forms of yoga, just as there are different forms of dance. There's something for everyone. You don't have to subscribe to one idea or thought or belief. Oh gosh, I love yoga. Anyways,
Yeah, I can piggyback on that sentiment, because if you guys just go to YouTube and you put in yoga with Adrienne, she has got amazing content. That's how I got into yoga. Actually, I took like a 30-day yoga challenge, and you're talking like, 10 minutes out of your day. You can transform your mind and your body with as little as 10 minutes. Obviously, if you go to a class, it'll be 30 minutes or more. But I mean, just to make that effort, yoga is a great, awesome resource in it. Thank you for that.
It is. And the third thing I would say is, with being on your journey of achieving and accomplishing goals and things, that dreams you want to attain and that kind of thing, I think it's really important to share that with people that make a difference, meaning people that can help you, people that will encourage you, people that will give you the kind of feedback you need at the right time. Not everything is rosy, of course, and sometimes you need that, I don't want to say critical feedback, but honest feedback, but in love. Sure. And you don't need to share all of your goals with the whole world and post it all over social media, because not everybody's going to have your best interests, which I've learned. Not that I did that before, but I was taught before that, you got to tell everybody your goals because that'll keep you accountable, because you don't want to look bad. It's not about looking bad. It's about fulfilling what's inside of you. It's about accomplishing what it is for your journey, not to please other people and not to get the approval of other people, which I was running that race and trying to keep up with, whoever was doing what, because I thought that was the right thing to do. And so with goals, I think you have to be really selective with sharing them with, if you have mentors or coaches, with those people that have your best interests. And I say this too, because, we're in the beginning of a new year and everybody's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And the New Year's resolutions, which in the past I did, I hate that too, Anthony. I have to say, I hate it because it just, I'm all about goal setting. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am definitely about achieving and reaching new goals and setting new things for yourself. I am all about that, but there's a way to go about it. So you need to find the right way to go about it. And I thought before just the mere declaration of it was going to make it happen. That's not the case. You got to put in work. You got to put in work. You got to adjust. You got to evaluate and measure and do the things that are required, but be able to be okay with the fact that you might have to adjust along the way, and that you're going to get there. And you just have to find the way that's going to work for you, not what's going to be pleasing to other people or get the approval of other people. That's just been my experience, and it's been very liberating for me.
Bam. Annett killed it. She just killed it today, guys, with this. It sounds like you've attained so much wisdom and gained so much knowledge. So if you could get in your time machine one more time and go back to when you were 21 years old, what would be something you would tell your 21-year-old self, do you think?
I would tell myself, there is nothing wrong with you. You were created for excellence. And I think Marie Forleo said this, or someone told her this, that everything is figure outable. So don't panic so much and get out of your head.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me that, because I have that problem, but that's besides the point. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. At the end of the show, and that I always tell everybody the same thing. I tell them, control the controllable. As for the rest, keep on flowing and just be.
Yes.
I just want to thank Annett Bone for coming on today. All the information is going to be at memyselfandiradio.com/Annett. All the information that she spoke about and more is going to be on the website and on the blog. So check it out. Thanks so much, Annett.
Thank you, Anthony. I really enjoyed our conversation.
You've been listening to Me, Myself, and I Radio with your host, Anthony Hayes. Tune in next time.
Tell me what